Check. 1, 2.
Check. Hello, check. Okay. You ready?
Check.
Oh, there we go.
I'm live, by the way.
Hey. Okay. Are we ready?
I think so.
We start with created first.
That's right.
I am doing created now. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Today's show is sponsored by Created with Love. Get a date night delivered to your doorstep with subscription boxes of all shapes. What?
Shapes and sizes. Go to creativewithlove.com/AON.
To find out more. Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Hey, guys, I just read a comment. What's up? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, also a marriage expert when I can. Part-time marriage expert, that is. No, full-time, right? Because marriage is a full-time job. Welcome to the show. Welcome to AON Radio.
Oh my gosh, you are on another planet. Good morning. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We answer your questions. We talk about things that matter to you. And this show is real help for real couples because we had a really crappy marriage and we're out to fix it. And we want you to be a part of all of that.
We fit to fix it.
That's
What's
right.
up, our friends from Egypt? Let's see. Hello.
Good morning,
Hello, I'm your
Kate.
friend
Good
from
morning,
Egypt.
Adina.
What's up? Good morning.
Say where you're from. This is really fun.
That's right. Okay.
We're from Maple Valley, Washington.
I'm not. I'm from South Carolina.
That's right. That's right. So every day we talk about the things that our topic is, and today our topic is that we are going to talk about is why does my wife think she's always right? So it says,
I don't know.
hi, I want to actually, if you've got a question for the show, you can send it in to hello@anatomyofmarriage.com, or you can send it in through our app, the Anatomy of Marriage app, which is amazing. Hello, people from Nebraska and Oklahoma. Hello.
Spent a week there one night.
That's right. So the question says, hi, I wanted to reach out and ask your thoughts about reasons why I feel, oh my gosh, I'm not recording. Start over. I didn't push record on the Zoom.
It's start over.
That's fine. It's fine. You guys just keep saying where you're from.
Okay, yeah.
Today,
you get a double dose. Yeah.
Today's show is sponsored by Created with Love. Get your date night delivered to your doorstep. Visit createdwithlove.com/AON. Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, guys? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a marriage and family therapist and also a full-time marriage expert. And this show is real help for real couples because we didn't have this when we needed it. So we wanted to make it. So welcome and your thank you.
What? That was funny. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we go live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and we talk about the things that matter in marriage. We're so happy that y'all are joining us. We've got people from Oklahoma City, from Egypt, from Cairo, same thing, from New York, from South Carolina. I mean, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
So welcome. We're so glad that you're here. And if you have a question that you want us to have answered on the show, send it in to hello@anatomyofmarriage.com or send it in through the Anatomy of Marriage app, which you can get everywhere you get apps.
That's right.
Here is today's question. It says, why does my wife think she is always right? I wanted to reach out and ask your thoughts about reasons why I feel so alone and become so angry with my wife during an argument. I feel that the majority of the time we are discussing the things I do wrong, but she rarely speaks on her wrongdoings. It causes me to feel resentment and I brush everything under the rug and I end up verbally attacking my wife with her biggest insecurities. In the moment, I want to hurt her, but I always regret it after seeing her break down. There seems to be a double standard in our marriage, and I let it bring out the worst in myself. Help.
So this last thing jumped out at me, and I let it bring out the worst in myself. So get some control, my man. You do have control. And I'm saying this from a guy from feeling exactly what you felt before, because Melanie thinks she's right oftentimes. And it's true, right? And especially like earlier in our marriage,
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is driving me bonkers. So I want you guys to shift your focus, not on she's always right, I'm always wrong, vice versa. I want you to focus on times when you're both right and then have a real conversation with her about this. This really smells and looks like you're an Enneagram 9. She's not. She's opinionated. She's whatever, which is completely fine. But you are putting your feelings kind of in a box and not, you're trying to avoid conflict. And when we avoid conflict, guess what? We're not in touch with ourselves and we're definitely not in touch with other people. We build up that resentment And then boom, in a moment of just a heated argument, we let it all out like a shaken up can of Pepsi that you open up really quickly instead of opening slow.
Right. That. I think I want to address this a different way than Seth did.
Okay.
So I think a lot of I think a lot of times women are influenced greatly by our culture. Men are too, obviously, but we are influenced by culture that says a woman is always right. Happy wife, happy life. All the TV shows, unless you're watching like Little House on the Prairie, are basically men are dumb kind of oafs, and women just have to, we're this like oppressed people group, and if men would just listen to us, everything would be fine. And we have to get over the fact that we think that, well, first we have to acknowledge that we think that about ourselves, because I certainly did.
So this is the husband asking. I'm just reminding you that.
Oh, I know. But the woman's got the problem.
Okay.
I think the lady's got the problem. I think the husband can deal with it in a certain way, but I think it's very hard to be like, how about this? Would you want a counselor to be like, Seth, you just need to deal with the fact that Melanie never thinks she's wrong better?
No.
Yeah. So it's not the guy that has the problem. It's the lady. And so I want to address this because there are tons of ladies out there listening who are doing this same exact thing to their husband and wondering why he loses his crap every other week.
Hey, Shammy.
Wow. And so the thing that I want to say about this, and this is what I wish someone had said to me, which actually Joyce Meyer said to me via her worldwide show, is that she said something along the lines of, would you want to be married to yourself? Would you want your spouse to not listen to you when you had a concern the way that you actually don't listen to your spouse when they have a concern? So that's a question you ask yourself if you're the lady in this circumstance. The next thing is Joyce Meyer talks about you can steer a ship like as a woman. This is what she did. She's she had a really rough childhood. Joyce Meyer is a like mega church pastor lady who I love. And she talks about you can steer the ship and feel like you're in control while you are like pushing it into oblivion and going into the rocks and the cliffs. Like you can steer your ship.
You're steering it that way.
Right. You think you're in control because you're like, I am going to strong arm this and I'm going to show my husband and I'm going to this and that. And no man's going to tell me what I am no man. No man's going to tell me what to do. And I'm smarter and I can do this. And if he would just listen. And you don't realize you're not collaborating at that point. You're not co-laboring. You're actually just like ripping the steering wheel out of his hand and like, who even cares where we go? And that's what I was doing. Right. So what I wish I had heard earlier was collaborate. And this is the visual that came into my mind as I was thinking of this question. It's going to sound super weird for a minute, but those like diagrams with the circles, what are they called, where they overlap? A Venn diagram. A Venn diagram. So you have the circle that is you and the circle that is your spouse. And let's say your circle is yellow and your spouse's circle is blue. And when they overlap, what color do they make? Green. Green. So your home should have a whole lot of green. Right. And little bits of yellow and blue. Like that's how it should work. Collaborative means green. Right? The green is where you overlap and you've made a collaborative, respectful decision and green, right? Green is between yellow and blue. But here's what happens. I looked around our house one day and I went, oh my gosh, everything is pretty much, everything is yellow. Everything is what I want. Right. There was so little about our home, our day-to-day life. That was what Seth wanted. There was a lot of yellow, a little tiny bit of green, and like a dot of blue. Like what? Everything. Just give examples to the listeners so they can be like, oh, okay, yeah, I do that too. How I organize the house. Right. The foods we eat. The shows we watch. The way we do or don't talk. Who we do or don't hang out with. Where we go when we hang out with people. Where we travel. Where we stay when we travel. Like I had this like Hulk-sized opinion about everything, and I was walking around just like a gorilla, like in the mist, and I was making sure that I got my way all the time. Right. And guess who wasn't happy about that? Me. Right. And guess who wasn't happy about that too? Seth. Right. So somebody says, but it is the husband's responsibility to make it known what he wants. Yes, I agree with that 100%, and that's what I was alluding to earlier. Right. Like.
if you're going to the Venn diagram example, you have yellow everywhere. It is my responsibility to voice my wants, needs, concerns, desires, right? And from an Enneagram 9, it's like I didn't do that, and then I would get super mega pissed and then just blow up on you. You understand what I'm saying?
Mega pissed, yes.
So it's funny, like when especially, well, men or women, when anything Enneagram 9 comes in, like questions or whatever, I'm just like spidey sense all over it. I'm like, what? Okay, time out. I know too much exactly what you're talking about. Let me address that.
Right.
So this kind of smelled of that to me here. So I'm like, okay, bro, dude, man, right? Brother. Try this out. You have to say what you want. You have to say what you desire. And the more that you avoid conflict is the less connected you're going to feel to yourself and to your partner, right? So when I dove into that, I started feeling more connected to myself, and I started feeling more connected to you. I listened to you on a podcast. When was it? I think last week on the Dad Edge podcast with Larry Hagner. You guys go check it out. It's awesome. And you were saying, yeah, I just love a good conflict, and I'm like, because I don't like conflict, but hearing you say it in a different way was like, okay, I'm going to push back against you and have a little spar. You know what I'm saying? Because you say that you can handle it, and you say that you like that, and that's more like engaging with you. I remember we had a conversation with our friend Matt McDonald from the Classic Crime, Tooth and Nail, and him and his wife are just crazy. They're awesome, but they're crazy, and they were like, we love to fight. And I was thinking in my brain, oh, that's the worst thing ever. But you were all over what Matt was saying. Like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, he said, I love a good conflict. Like, it brings me closer. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. Like,
my gosh.
You want to really become my friend? Let's fight about something.
That's like cutting down a tree and me standing in the way of it falling and just getting crushed.
That's the weirdest analogy I can think of, but sure.
I just saw a tree.
Let me think of an analogy. Tree.
That
was funny. Yeah.
So I encourage the husband to really voice what he desires.
Right.
It's not in a time of conflict, not in a time of high stress, but to sit down and write down, what do I really want from this? And I feel respected from this, because more likely than not, your wife isn't just some raging bee. She might be, but I don't think so. Just some raging bee that just says, my way or the highway. The Venn diagram is solid yellow, and you're not even a part of this. Puny weenie man. She's probably not saying that.
Puny weenie man.
She probably just has a different perspective on it and isn't afraid of conflict, isn't afraid of engaging in that way. What's up? In comes the money. So go ahead.
And sorry, I thought that was a different comment. I agree. And what I would say is use the clearing structure. So we made an app because we love you. And the app is called the Anatomy of Marriage app. And the app has the clearing structure. It is a tool. It's in the toolbox button of the app. It's 100% free. How much does it cost?
Free.
It's nothing. It costs you no thing. Go get the app and use the clearing structure to talk about the things that you want. It has the AOM sandwich method built in, meaning it starts out with 2 or 3 positive traits. You fill it in. You fill in the spots in the app, and it says, dear wife, I love that you make lasagna that's so good, and that you're smoking hot or whatever. And you fill it in, and then you go, there's something I want to talk about. And then it literally walks you step by step through your feelings. You can use this app, or you can use the clearing structure about anything. How often you have sex, how she cooks the lasagna, how often she cooks the lasagna. You can literally talk about this, about how cleaning the house, money. It works for anything and everything. Actually, some people use it at their jobs with their bosses. It is an amazing tool for communication, especially in conflict. So I highly recommend that if you feel like you are being snowplowed by your wife all the time, and that the whole house is yellow and you ain't even got a dot of blue in there, use the clearing structure. So I'm saying that because if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you just come and try to talk to her like you've done in the past, nothing is going to change. Don't do that. It's not going to be helpful. You're not going to get anywhere. And
chances are you've tried to speak to her in the past, but have maybe used words like always or never, or have been somewhat critical that just puts her right on the defense. And then if you feel like you're if someone is critical to you, you the natural response is defensive. What? I don't do that. No.
Right.
So then she starts in her I'm always right mode, and you're just like, okay, forget it kind of thing. So when we use the clearing structure, it really paves the way for clear and dedicated communication in a different way. So use the clearing structure. And if you are like kind of level 2 marriage, you're like, yeah, we got the clearing structure. We're good. You want to level up your engagement, your connection with your wife, go to go with createdwithlove.com/AOM, right? And what are you going to get? You're going to get a date box, guys. A date box.
You can get a date box.
Well, yeah.
You're not going to get one. Like, it's not going to be sent to you for free.
Well, no, you have to subscribe, right?
Well, you didn't say that. There's no duh there. Anyhow,
what do you
always
expect
right.
for nothing? A rubber biscuit, right?
Who says that? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
What?
What do you want for nothing? A rubber biscuit?
Who says that?
It's a thing from a long time ago. I don't know. So anyway, go to createdwithlove.com/AOM. And in this box, who knows what you'll get, right? We've gotten 3 of them before, and we have no idea what is in there. It is a bunch of cards. It's a bunch of conversation starters. It's actual games and like things, manipulatives that you can put together. We do it when we go outside, go on dates. It's a really creative, fun, and affordable way to, hey, what's this month's date box? I don't know. What is it? Okay, let's do it. And you look forward to it. So go to createdwithlove.com/AOM.
I may have been the least I don't even know what just happened. These are themed subscription date boxes. They're hilarious. They're curated. They have several dates. Like one of the ones we got had 52 date ideas on top of games and like conversation starters. They are so fun. So when it's COVID. COVID is serious right now. We can't go anywhere. We can't do it.
I just had a freaking test, and the thing went up my nose. It's like a mummy.
Seth has had his brain removed to see if it has coronavirus.
Luckily, it was not, but still feeling weird. So somebody just wrote in on YouTube that says, I just joined, so I don't know if this has been said, but I feel like those types of sayings are because she is afraid and she is trying to, in a way, comfort herself. Yes, that can be a mask for some insecurity, right?
What sayings?
With the wife, like
happy wife, happy life?
Yeah, and saying like the wife is always right, all this stuff. So that might be a mask. And this is what I've speculated a long time ago. Sometimes when we walk into a room,
keep talking, I'll be right back. Yeah.
When we own it and stuff like that, and we're like, oh, this is just how I am. I'm cold, or I just say what I want, or whatever. That is a form of it's like a smoke screen, right? We're putting up this. So if I can head people off of the past, like show them that I'm like, tough and all this stuff. This is just how I am. Then people aren't going to get close enough to like be.
It's a defense mechanism, right? And that's exactly what I used to do. What are you looking at? I used to do the same thing where I would, and again, I say this all the time. My best friend is the person who called me out on this because I wouldn't have heard it from anybody else. Right. But I was like, oh, well, I'm really opinionated. And I say what I want. You know how many women say that? Like all of them. And you know what that actually means is I'm a freaking bully and I don't know how to deal with my feelings and I don't know how to deal with yours. So I'm opinionated. I'm going to snap my fingers at you. Right. I say what I want. Deal.
You head them off at the pass and then it's shut down before it even starts.
Right.
And guess what that doesn't bring?
Connection. Anything positive.
Joining. Anything good.
So I wanted to grab this book.
What are you going to read?
It's called, well, I'm not going to read anything. It's called Not a Partnership, and it was sent to us by one of the authors. And it's by Todd Jacobs and Peter Lynn. And it's called Not a Partnership. And I am reading it slowly because COVID and homeschooling is not the easiest thing ever. But one of the things that he talks about in this book, which I think is brilliant, I wonder if I can find it, is that he talks about this idea that people, when they only receive and they only, the idea is not a partnership as in, well, I can't even explain it necessarily, but he talks about this idea that we value the things that we care for. So he uses the example of pets. I value my dog, not because my dog makes me coffee. My dog doesn't do jack for me. Right. My dog tears up the lawn. My dog poops everywhere and runs away. It's great. But I value Doug, my dog, because I care for him. And one of the things it says is we find ourselves in the things that we care for. So if we have a garden, We find a part of ourselves is sort of like put into the soil of that garden. The flower that you planted has grown, the flower or the tomato plant that you have watered faithfully, all of those things. You find yourself in the things that you care for. So in this question, this woman is not caring for her husband. She's only asking things of him. And think about it like this. Like if, I think this is going to be a really gross way to think of this, but like slavery. Did slave owners love their slaves? Why not? The slaves did everything for them. Shouldn't that be like, oh, you're so nice. You've done everything for me. Shouldn't I love you? It doesn't work that way. When we get everything we want, we actually do. We don't love. We don't appreciate or respect. Think about kings and like in Egypt, the like royal whatevers.
Right. This is a good segue. We value what we pay for. We value what we work for.
Right.
We value things more when they are not given to us. And this is a perfect segue into the idea of coaching, right? Coaching. You guys tell me when you have done a really good job on something that you worked hard for. How did you feel? Right? With our marriage, I value our marriage because we really worked for it, right? It wasn't easy. It wasn't given to us. And think of it this way. If you were a kid, say you were 12, 13, 14 years old, and you were saving up your money for a bike, right? So you're mowing lawns, or you were helping your grandma out, weeding the garden and stuff like this, and you saved your money, right? You saved your money, $50 for a new Nintendo game or something. You are going to value that game more than, here's a game.
Right.
Here you go, right? You'd be like, oh, well, that was easy. You don't care about it, right? And the same thing in coaching. So if you have any questions about coaching, email us at coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. We value what we pay for, and the coaching relationship is like, okay, nobody's going to do this work for me. I am putting up a good amount of money for it. I'm going to take the island and I'm going to burn the boats. So I'm not going to have an option to not do this thing, right? So if you're planting a garden or you're caring for the dog, who's going to water the garden other than you? Nobody is, because nobody cares about it as much as you.
Right.
And then when you see it grow, you're going to say, I did that. You're going to have a feeling of accomplishment. Same thing with coaching. When we finish coaching, or even when coaching our clients, they did it. They did a goal, like 75 hard. I set out to do a goal. I did it. Nobody did it for me. And the feeling of like self-confidence, self-respect, accomplishment is just through the roof. So if you want more of that, email us at coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. We'll hop on the phone. I'll talk to you for an hour, get your stuff figured out, see if you're a good fit. So email us, coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. Hey, Marriage and Martinis, what's up?
Hey.
We're trying to have you on the show. Let's trade shows.
Coaching is absolutely the best. It's my favorite thing in the world. But here's the thing I wanted to read. I found it, and it's good. So it says, what causes love? We have seen that love and giving are closely intertwined, but which one produces the other? Do we give where we love? I give to you because I love you. Or do we love where we give? As a result of giving to you, I feel love for you. We are accustomed to thinking that giving is the outgrowth of love. While one way of expressing love is through giving, the truth is that giving produces love. A person loves the fruit of his hard work. Why? Because where I invest my time and energy and sweat and tears, I find a piece of myself that lives in the recipient of my toil. Whether it's the daughter that I raised, the baby I nursed, the dog I care for, the plant I tended, or house or Lego set, if I'm a child, that I built. Every one of us feels attached to the work of our hands because we find ourselves there. And so this book, I'm loving this book so far. Again, I'm reading it very slowly because it's very hard to be a homeschooling mom. My gosh, it's very hard to be a homeschooling mom and read a book. But why I wanted to read that is that if I could talk to the younger version of myself as a wife, and I was doing the same thing that the guy wrote in about, I was the most selfish wife on the planet. I wanted Seth to talk to me the way I wanted to be talked to. I wanted Seth to dress the way I wanted him to dress. I wanted Seth to the book is called Not a Partnership by Todd Jacobs and Peter Lynn.
If you're thinking that way that you did, you're not in a partnership. You're in a dictatorship.
Right. And that's exactly what I was doing. So what the husband needs to do in this case, like I said, get the clearing structure inside of the Anatomy of Marriage app. The clearing structure exists outside of the app, but inside of the app, it is phenomenal. Do it. It's free. It costs you $0. Go get the Anatomy of Marriage app, download it on your phone, and open up the clearing structure in the toolbox.
That's right.
And use it to talk about these things, because the hardest part about this is that your wife is never going to stop this until she realizes how damaging it is.
Mm-hmm.
I had to hear someone say, would you want to be married to yourself? And I was like, oh gosh, no,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely would not. And then the same thing of like, you can steer your ship the wrong way.
Right.
You can steer your ship in the wrong direction.
And guess what? The most giant of ships is controlled by a very small rudder. Right? So our rudders can be our words, our nonverbal actions, our scowls or whatever, or our smiles. Like, I just smile at you, or sometimes we wake up, we don't even talk, we just hug, right?
Right.
So how does that affect our day? That tiny little rudder, like a hug in the morning, boom. Okay, it's setting us up appropriately, right? And what was I going to say? Oh, crap. Dead air. Sorry, I had a really good thought, but I didn't know what I was going to say, or I forgot what I was going to say, rather. Well, okay, so just refer back to coaching. Like, we talk about these things in coaching. Okay, you want a better marriage. You want to lose weight, and grow your business. Whatever you want to do, we have daily conversations about it with our coaching clients, and we call you to the carpet. Right. Hey, man, what are you doing? You can't do this and expect your wife to respond appropriately to it. Or you can't be this kind of wife and expect your husband to just put up with it and put up with it and put up with it. No, something has to give. And oftentimes, we need that outside perspective. Someone who is going to say something, actually, and kick our butt and is not afraid to hurt our feelings, right? Our coach said some stuff to us. I was like, oh, boy. Okay.
Mostly to you.
You're exactly right.
Because I'm awesome.
Yeah, because you're always right.
Not always right, but I'm always awesome.
What book was that? It's called Not a Partnership.
And I will share links of it and stuff. And we want to have the author on. But one of the things that I was thinking too is that I have to say this, like, we go to what we know. So if you saw, and the person who asked this question, if you saw your own father do this, like, my mom would just plow over his thoughts and my dad would be silent, and then all of a sudden he'd yell at her. Like, if you saw that pattern in your life, it's going to be that much harder to undo it, because we go to what we know, right? Excuse me. And so what I found in my own life is that, and I love my parents, but that is a dynamic that like, mom was always right. She still is always right. Ain't no way my dad is going to get his way. It's Dawn's way or the highway. No. And she knows it.
Same thing with my mom and dad. Yeah.
Right. But here's the thing. That's what I knew. So that's how I knew how to manage a situation.
Preach.
And I have to tell you, it feels like going in for emergency surgery to undo
removing the bee.
Bee removal.
A bee extraction.
A beectomy. So it feels like no. It really is so incredibly hard to take away that part of you if it's something you've always done. If you genuinely have felt like, I'm always right, my husband's stupid, I do the right thing, I want my way, I want my stuff, I want my house to be all yellow, forget blue, it's the stupidest color ever. If that's how you are, it is going to hurt so bad to change it, but it's going to change your life.
Right.
And if you have kids, you best be working on this stuff, because you're just going to freaking mess them up.
You are creating,
by passing that on to them.
You are creating your child's family of origin. Let me say that again. The thing that you're talking about right now as an adult, oh, my mom and dad did this. The thing that you may be in therapy for or getting coaching for, you are creating that same thing for your children right now. What kind of legacy? What kind of what do you want to leave to your kids? Right? What kind of family of origin you want to leave to your kids?
Listen to this. Yes. Listen to me.
Yes.
So many people in my life whom I love and adore. They look around my home, our home, and they go, why is that there? Why do you have a deer stand in your shed? Like, as if it is the wrong thing to allow this human whom I chose to marry to have a deer stand. I did not grow up with hunting. I don't even know what a gun is. I thought that'd be funny to say. I didn't grow up with hunting, and I have pretty much every human going, ew, gross. Seth does that. Ew.
When you say every human?
Everyone that I know and love. Like,
Not everyone that you know.
Who do I?
Your friends don't say that.
Yes, they do.
Who?
All of them. Bridget. I have no friends that are like, ooh, Seth has rifles and a deer stand and guns.
Oh my God.
None of my friends are like, that's normal and healthy. They're like, that's scary and weird. And I'm like, it's fine.
Right.
And I have to be able to stand up for my own husband to do the things that he likes.
Right.
How stupid is that? Women, your to-do list is not like the order of the world.
So the worst thing ever is when my parents or friends like say, wait a minute, what is Melanie doing?
Right.
And then I feel like I have to defend you. So this goes for like my workplace and in just life. Being the middle person, being the middleman is the worst place ever, ever. That's why, when you say, hey, can you call XYZ? I'm like, no, I can't. You know why? Because when I call, you're just going to ask me 100 questions of why I did or did not ask them the things. So you call them. I am not. Right? Like that happened with a house, remember? So I stood up for myself in that, or not stood up for myself. I said, no.
Yeah, you just said, no, I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that. And you're like, oh, okay, fine. Right? So
fine.
Somebody says, fine. So are the clearing structures a good way to combat that issue with your family of origin? Yes, it is. You can use clearing structure with your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle.
But I think this person is asking.
Your cousin Lisa?
No. The clearing structure is simply a way to slow down the brain thought process and clarify what you're thinking. That's why it's called the clearing structure. I guess it would be the clarifying structure. But all your clarified butter thoughts can be set on the page without there being so it slows down your brain from your like lizard part of your brain that's trying to go blah, 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 everything's wrong, everything's bad, let's fight, blah, right? Like, because normally if someone says, I don't like how you do the dishes, you go, whoa! And you freak out, like your brainstem doesn't know what to do, and it overreacts, and then you fight. That's what happens. And so the whole point of the clearing structure is to slow down, talk about whatever the issue is. It could be anything from I would like a raise at my I would like that's really funny. Like, I would like a raise, and you can talk to your boss about how you can get a raise, and you can say in the clearing structure why you want a raise. Or it can be, I don't like how you, I'm not even kidding, like do the dishes, like the way that we do the dishes as a family. These things are all important. And if we pretend like they're not, we get divorced. Like, that's the thing that happens. It's just these stupid little things that nobody thinks about are the stuff of our entire lives. Every single day we deal with the family of origin thing. And in our episode about family of origin years ago, we talked about when people get married, it's like two families of origins colliding. It's like, like universes going, right? Yeah, tectonic plates. That's a great way to like look at it. And you have to decide which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to modify, which ones you want to get rid of entirely. And the clearing structure will help you. And it's such an awesome framework because eventually you don't need to use it. Eventually you figure out how it works.
In therapy, sometimes I ask the question early on, okay, let's have a conversation. What do you want to see more of in your life? And what do you want to see less of? And that could be, I want to see more motivation. I want to see me going to the gym more. I want to have more connection with my wife. I want to have more sex. I want to have more money. I want to have less arguments. I want to feel less depressed. So we highlight the things we want more of and then have a deep conversation around that, and then have a real conversation around the things that we don't want to see, because sometimes those are perpetuating patterns. Sometimes those are self-limiting thoughts. Those are upper limit problems, as we talk about. And this is all clarifying stuff, right? So in coaching, we talk about these things. If coaching is, if you think, oh, geez, yeah, I want more clarity. I want more sex. I want more money. I want less depression. I want less low self-esteem. We have to break through these things and talk about them. And coaching really does that. I've been a therapist for over 13 years, and I find recently that coaching is so different from therapy because it is, dude, what's going on? I'm here for you. Tell me what's going on, right? What?
Nothing.
What?
I think to myself, you want your name in my little leopard print book? You want to be on my calendar?
That's right.
Join coaching.
Join coaching. Email us at coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. We'll have a long conversation for it, because if you're not the right fit, I don't want to waste your time, waste your money, and I don't want to do that for me either. But if we are the right fit, let's blow this thing up.
Right.
Coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com.
But as we wrap up, I want to just talk about this idea to the ladies and men if you're this way. But you've got to be able to grow up That's the thing. That's the main thing in this question. If you think you're always right, you're a mega bee, and
Grow
you need
some
to
ovaries.
change that. Get your ovaries and grow them. Fry your eggs. I need you, like, that's the kind of thing I wish that I had heard. Like, if, so let me just state it again.
Yes.
If you think that you are always right about everything, you need to grow up. Toddlers think they're right about everything. Toddlers cry and scream and are angry to get their way. If you are an adult and you cannot collaborate with your spouse, you need to change. You need to go get help. You need to talk to a therapist. You need to use the clearing structure. You need to read some damn books
What
about how
happened
to
with the
grow up.
mushrooms? Well, I ate them. And
No.
I'm just kidding.
Nothing happened with them. They're just so fun. They're
Nothing,
everywhere.
yeah.
They're so cool. We have mushrooms galore. But yeah, so we are just so excited that y'all are sending in your questions, that you keep talking to us. And we do love coaching. If you want to do coaching, if you want to get your name in my little leopard book, you send in your, whatever I'm trying to say, go to coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com or email us at hello.
And you guys, we are almost done with AOM HQ.
Oh,
That
yeah.
means Anatomy of Marriage headquarters. We are literally almost done. We got to paint the door. We got to put one more panel up in the roof, and then we fit to be done.
My leg is healing from when I gashed it open with the utility knife.
And we are super excited. You guys are going to see it. We're going to document all of our stuff there and do more.
Right. And we're going to be filming out of there soon, maybe even tomorrow.
Maybe.
So check us out because it is really exciting. We've built this whole thing out. We're going to work on it even today, and been caulking and trimming and nailing and cutting and all that jazz. So we're really excited about it. Bacon to the bricks, y'all. So have a lovely day. If you've got a question, thank you, Lily. You're the best too. If you've got a question or anything, send it in to hello@anatomyofmarriage.com or DM us on Instagram or whatevs. But we love you guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you for being our community. And if you love us, share the show and rate and review it on iTunes. Your words matter more than ours when it comes to our show. Ain't nobody care what we say.
So, all right, guys, go to creativewithlove.com/AOM to get your curated date box. If you got questions, email coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com.
I already did the call to action. All right. Love you guys.
All right. Bye.